have the lead singer here with me, and we're going to talk about his music. Gene Clark, an original member of the Byrds. And I wanted to start off with a Byrds-related question.
Okay.
Being the one of the writers of the song 8 Miles High, which is one of your bigger hits.
Right.
And is it true that you really left the Byrds because you were afraid of flying?
Well, that's a classic question. First of all, the actual song, let me just quickly run through it. The actual song 8 Miles High started writing. I actually wrote the song and then presented the song to McGuinn and Crosby on tour. We were on a bus tour at the time, and we were listening to a lot of John Coltrane, a lot of Ravi Shankar, a lot of things like that, and they helped me finish the song. The melody and lyrics I wrote myself in a hotel room with Brian Jones in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So that's...
So you should have got a part credit on there somewhere? Or
well, I thought so at the time, you know,
yeah.
But of course he didn't care, you know, it just came out of a conversation. Anyway, the fear of flying wasn't really the reason I quit the group. When you're 19, 20 years old, and you start on a fantasy, you're a bunch of kids on the street, and you've got all these things happening to you, and then all at once you're thrown in the, you know, 2, 3 months, 6 months later, you're hanging out with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and there's mob scenes in London, and all this thing's happening to you, can cause you to become a little bit disturbed. Let's say that really the reason for the group breakup was much less the fear of flying than it was the fact that we were too young to handle the amount of success that was thrown at us all at once.
Okay. But are you afraid of flying?
No, I love it.
Oh.
I
well,
love
who
it.
came up with that one?
No,
That's what I used to read about.
Well, I think that was a good...
But,
at the time, at that time, I wasn't as comfortable with flying as I am now.
Oh, so it was just sort of blown up.
So it was an easy way to make an excuse for the group having some problems at the time.
Okay, what about your... I wanted to talk about your influences as a writer and a performer. You seem to have a lot of folk and bluegrass influence, but your ballad style, which is pretty prominent on a lot of your recordings, adds another dimension. I just can you talk about that?
That's really hard to pinpoint. I can't really say that exactly where maybe the ballad style came from, except that maybe I appreciated a lot of the beautiful folk songs, the folk type songs. But my father was a bluegrass musician. I came from the Missouri Ozarks, and I was a rock and roll kid. I loved Elvis Presley. Through high school, I had rock and roll bands, and when the folk music thing came on in the early 60s, it was just natural for me to fall into it because I had that background of folk and country music in my existence. So.
And the band you have now, the Firebirds, even the title is kind of an in-joke there, if you can pick up on it. It's with Michael Clark from Firefall and the Byrds, and,
right.
And of course the Byrds with a Y.
Right.
And so, do you do a lot of? Do you do much older material? Is it all newer?
Well,
what are people going to hear when they go down?
We're doing a bit of the older material. We're doing the classics. We're doing So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, Feel a Whole Lot Better. On the new record that I've just got coming out in a couple of months, I did what I've wanted to do for a long time. I recorded a 3-verse version of Tambourine Man, a longer verse version. And it sort of made it, you know, here's the classic, here's the longer length version. Now, any more than 3 verses, of course, I think the song is, what, 5, 6 verses long or something like that. Any more than that would have gotten a little bit long, but we did a 3-verse version. So we do Tambourine Man, we do the new version of it, and, you know, Feel a Whole Lot Better, those things like that.
So, am I going to be able to pick your record up in town here?
I hope so. We're not finished doing all the negotiations yet, but I do know for sure that if it's not out before Christmas, it will be out right after the first of the year.
And we'll see you tonight, Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday down at Harpost.
Okay.
And I hope all of you come down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to everybody.
And I got to give you my top 10 this week. I have to. I need to.